Hello, and welcome to the second half of our anticipation guide. This is the time after our reading when we want to review these 5 questions, see if we still agree or disagree. Mainly what we're looking for is how did our opinions change from before reading to after reading, right? Are there things that I agreed with that were wrong? Are there ideas of mine that got confirmed? Are there some ideas that I want to flip back and forth? Did I learn something brand new and I want to really explore it? All right. So you can see that I filled out my anticipation guide, even the questions that I didn't do with you. I wanted you to anticipate the first time around. But now it's a time to take a look and see whether or not I still agree or disagree with these statements. All right. So the first one says that the Amazon River has more than 1,000 tributaries. And after my reading, I'm prepared to still agree with that, right? Remember, that was one that I was unsure of the first time around. I said, it seems plausible. The Amazon's a big place. It's a large river. I could see there being that many tributaries, but I wasn't quite sure if the number would be that high. And we have confirmed that afterwards, right? Remember part 2, I said that, oh, I think there are a lot of things that hang around on the trees and don't necessarily grow straight from the ground, right? What I'd like to look at with you guys is number 3 here. So you can see number 3, I actually selected disagree. Maybe I don't know much about the layers of the rainforest or didn't before. And so I was unsure. I was like, what are they even talking about layers? How do I know that there would be 4? Who decided what those layers should be and where they are, right? So now after the reading is a good time for me to say, oh, well, you know what? I agree with this statement now, right? So after we've gone through, I remember specifically, I want to recall that in chapter 2, we were reading about each of the different layers, right? And I remember them telling me that each layer is somewhat unique. They have different characteristics, and so they lend themselves to different animals living at each layer. And we learned a little bit about an animal from each layer, right? So that is a statement that I have changed on. You won't need to color code yours. I just did that for our visual here. But seeing that beforehand, I really wasn't sure about that question, so I disagreed with it. I don't know that we consider there to be layers of the Amazon, let alone that there would be 4. Afterwards, I had those 2 main questions. Do we call there layers? And how many are there? And we have indeed confirmed that there are 4 layers. So that is one that I made a change on. And so I just like to go back through and consider, like, what was my thought process like before, right? What parts did I like and not like? Remember that number 1 and number 3, I was unsure of both of those, but I agreed with one because it seemed plausible. And I disagreed with the other because I had a few ideas in my head that seemed, I'm not sure of. Now that I'm done the reading, I want to go back and make sure that my thought process was correct or think about that, right? And see, oh, this is what changed. That will actually stick with you more than just getting all of the correct answers the first time around, right? It is really, really good to commit to these answers before doing your reading. And then afterwards, you can really say, like, it'll actually stick with you. Oh, I remember number 3. I had all these questions about the layers, and now it's really going to stick with me that we divide the Amazon into 4 different layers that are almost like unique ecosystems that support very different animals, right? So as you go through, don't just select an agree, disagree, did you find this fact in the text, but consider, like, how did your mentality change about that question? What were you thinking before, and how have you kind of adapted that now? What did the text give you that changed your thought process? All right.